KTC Weather Lab. Here's Rob's forecast.
Welcome back and welcome to the weekend. Unfortunately, it's going to be a stormy start to the weekend. The threat of not only heavy-duty showers and thunderstorms, but the possibility of a few severe storms and a couple of inches of rain on the way. But the brighter news, the silver lining, Sunday is going to be a nice day. But as we take a look at the satellite imagery, storms have been erupting across Texas over the last several days and then migrating into Louisiana while weakening. Well, we're seeing the storms getting closer and closer and a little bit less weakening with time. You see how the storms are blowing up across the Texas Panhandle and then across just west of the Texas Hill Country this afternoon. These are the storms that are going to be pushing toward Acadiana for tomorrow morning. Notice we had one thunderstorm complex fire up this afternoon across southeast Texas, producing severe storms just north of the Houston area. That cell is weakening. We'll show you the radar in just a bit. More heavy-duty cells back down to Mexico as well. But this is going to be the story. These big mesoconvective complexes that are very hard to forecast. We're going to try to do the best for you and give you the best odds on when you're going to see the showers and storms. Now this afternoon, severe thunderstorm watches from eastern New Mexico through much of the Texas Hill Country, and we do have a few warnings going for some cells, primarily for very heavy rainfall, gusty winds, and some hail. And then you get farther to the east, we have flash flood watches much of eastern Texas all the way up through Oklahoma and portions of Arkansas as well. Now locally across Louisiana, most of the action across the northwestern section of the viewing area or just out of KT's viewing area from Vernon Parish on all the way up through the western portions of Louisiana, including Natchitoches. This is where the storms are going to be this evening, maybe rolling through Alexandria and then pushing off generally to the east-northeast. The rest of Acadiana relatively quiet. We do have these artifacts on radar, and some of the radars that might be picking up what we call virga, but there may be a few light sprinkles moving through the area during the course of this early evening, but activity stays light and shouldn't prevent you from any outdoor activity for the most part into this evening. Now tomorrow we're hatched in for a severe threat, a slight risk of severe storms, mainly for the possibility of damaging winds in excess of 60 miles an hour. Some hail might be in the mix. Those risks at about 10 to 15%. The risk of an isolated tornado, though, quite low at about 2%. So we're going to have to be on the lookout for the possibility of a severe thunderstorm watch being posted for the area, and I think that's going to happen for tomorrow morning. Slight risk mainly from Acadia, St. Landry, Vermilion Parish on eastward. Back to the west, it is a marginal risk, but still the risk of an isolated severe storm here as well. So here we go with the predictive radar, putting that in motion. There are those storms that we saw over here. They're pushing mainly off to the east-northeast through 10 o'clock tonight. Overall, relatively quiet night ahead, very light winds, temperatures holding in the lower 70s. Then we get to tomorrow morning, showers and storms developing, and now we're going to have another model run coming for you tonight at 10 o'clock, but we think morning through the midday hours prime time. Here's 10 o'clock in the morning, showers and locally heavy thunderstorms. Nothing that looks overly organized based on what we're seeing on the predictive rainfall reflectivities. This cell could be problematic. And again, we're going to be on the lookout for gusty winds, maybe some small hail, perhaps an isolated mesoscale system that could produce a weak tornado. These storms will continue to move on into the early afternoon, and by mid to late afternoon, the severe weather threat will push off to the east, but we might not be done with the storms. We'll get a bit of a break, and then maybe an isolated storm or two through to early tomorrow evening. If so, there could be maybe a little pea-sized hail in that activity, and then by 10, 11 o'clock tomorrow night, quieting down and setting up for a very nice Sunday. So here we go on your rainfall totals. Looking at anywhere between 1 to 2 inches of rain. Many folks will get less than that, but isolated areas where storms tend to go over the same spots, you'll pick up 1 to 2 inches of rain. Notice we have 2.82 for Lafayette. Again, discount the numbers for the locales. That's going to change. What you want to look for is the consistency of purple. That's a rainfall of 2 inches, and you get into the red, that's rainfall of 3 inches. So we'll say 1 to 2 possible, isolated amounts up to 3, which could cause some localized street flooding, so we'll be on the lookout for that as well. Not a bad evening. Clouds thickening up throughout the night. A few storms possible by daybreak. Rain chance at about 40%. That goes up to 90% tomorrow with storms likely, some possibly severe, locally 1 to 2 inches or more in spots. Prime time for the storms anytime from tomorrow morning through early tomorrow afternoon. So if you're doing a cookout late tomorrow afternoon, I think you're in pretty good shape there. Winds picking up, you'll notice that as well, as we have almost with every severe weather threat. Whether they happen or not, the winds do pick up, and we'll see that tomorrow. Sunday looking good. Lots of sunshine. Temperatures in the 80s. Notice the overnight lows this weekend dipping down into the mid-60s. Enjoy that because we have some big humidity on the way going into next week, and we get under the influence of the subtropical jet stream. That means daily rain chances, and we could see some locally very heavy rainfall somewhere in the Bayou State before the next 7 to 10 days are over with. I just published a story on KATC.com for details on that and more. And make sure you update that weather app. We have new features on our weather app, lightning proximity and storm proximity alerts. So if lightning's near your home, it's going to tell you before you even hear the thunder.
Yeah, I love that weather app. And then also y'all are doing forecast recaps as well.
Yeah, exactly. We're able to deliver content straight to the app. So if you're away from your computer or TV, we'll get you that way too.
All right, perfect. Thanks so much, Rob.